Well, we're on our way. 11 a.m. post today at the Morrow County Fair. Now, I don't see them on the calendar, so the issue is you have to click on a different button. So Curtis drags all the entries, I believe, automatically off of the site onto the calendar, but he doesn't drag them out of the fair entry. So we have 3 horses racing in the fair. And plus, how is he not entered? How is Sunset Acres Girl not on there? She is not in the fair. She's at Northville Downs tonight, I think, isn't she? Although maybe it is considered a fair tonight, because I don't know. Jason races on Tuesdays. He races at Northville every day. Oh well. Anyway, I'm going to talk about yesterday. We're going to talk about today a little bit. I guess the biggest news of the day, aside from pretty good mile from Great Bet and Irresistible Sun last night, some flatter miles. Alibaba was third. We'll talk about the racing, but we did sell Crantini yesterday. He left. Went to a new barn. They're going to race him in the Consolation on Sunday, and good luck to them. I had told everybody throughout the fall we are going to start moving most of our sophomores out. Crantini was always on the list. I just thought he'd make it to Harrisburg, to be honest. But it was a fair dollar. It was a fair dollar for him, so the time was right. So Crantini has now left the stable. Tim will, I believe. The plan is for Tim to race the horse in the Consolation for the new owners, and then they will take him over. So that is, so that's a good thing. Good for Tim anyway, and good luck to the new owners of Crantini. Now, yesterday, what do we have going on yesterday? Blanton's Blue, a little flat yesterday. I'm going to talk to Megan. I'm going to bring him back here. I'd like to get a 2-year-old mark on that guy. You know, he fits, I guess, as the year plays out, we get to see a number of categories. Horses that are really in play. Some of them made a lot of money and some of them have not. You know, I'd like to see a couple of them get to 6 figures if they could as 2-year-olds, but most importantly, set them up as good as we can for their 3-year-old season. So we have that bracket. Horses that are excelling and have done well all summer long. You know what I'm talking about, whether it be Mel Gibson or Memory and Imagination, Pickpocket, those types of horses, Insider Trading, those types of horses. Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that she's okay. She got okay just in time to draw the 8-hole on Saturday. 2 8-holes in the final and Consolation in Pennsylvania. Not ideal and not something I'm very happy about. It seems like we've drawn a lot of outside posts. Somebody sent a message out and said, we draw outside in Ontario far too much. Something's going on. Well, Mohawk doesn't do the Poconos draw. Doesn't do the Northfield draw. Get a couple 8-holes tonight, I believe, or tomorrow, I believe. Anyway, don't want to talk about it. It is what it is. It's done now, and we're going to have to, as we like to say, play the hand we're dealt. We have the 8-hole. We're going to make the best we can with both situations and see what happens in the final on Saturday. So Blanton's Blue, I'd like to bring him home. As I said, those 3 groups of horses are horses that have done well this summer and excelling. Horses that are still on the bubble. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they like Buckeye grassroots horses? Are they sire stake horses? Are they going to come back good at 3? Addie, turn that down, I said. There are a lot of horses that fit in that bracket. And then the third bracket are horses like really have not excelled this year. There's flashes. But are they going to come back good at 3? And not quite. I never want to start filling that 4th bracket, which is the hope and pray bracket. Every year we get a couple that fit in there, and I don't want to put horses in there, but sometimes we do. And we have to. I guess we don't have to, but sometimes I choose to. But for the most part, you've got those 3 main brackets, files, buckets, however you want to describe them. And Blanton's Blue somewhere in the middle, I guess. He's done some okay things. He's made a little bit of money. He's shown some flashes, but is there a good horse in there? I want to believe yes. We'll bring him back, and he still fits the maiden. We can race him at Northfield or the Meadows. I'd like to get a 2-year-old mark on him, and then out to the field he can go. Alibaba, here it is September, and she just made realistically her first stake start of the year in Illinois, because they had the 2 rainouts at I think Springfield and Du Quoin, and she raced yesterday at Du Quoin, finished 3rd. Somebody said she looked a little flat. Well, Mr. Eaton's at a farm, and that farm is not a You can't go, I haven't been there, but it sounds like you can't go big, blistering, fast miles there. So think of the last time she made an actual start. That was a mediocre race at Mohawk before she left. All those rainouts and everything had caught up to her, and yes, she was a little flat, probably a little short, but she'll be better next time for it. I thought her race was adequate, and looking at the tote board, didn't surprise anybody in Illinois. The 3-5 favorite won, the 6-5 second favorite was second, and I assume we were third favorite at 6 or 7-1, and finished third. So a decent mile from her. Winter Bells I thought was flat last night. Now she's creeping into that third bucket. Won that race at 56 and looked great, and then looked very ordinary last night. I know Dominic scoped her after and said, oh, there's some mucus and pimples. Here, unless there's buckets of mucus, every 2-year-old for the most part has pimples, and I'm not getting into a position of making excuses for Winter Bells. And, you know, we all train them down. They all look different variations of good. Some of them didn't look good. We'll talk about a horse in a second. Great Bet, who looked horrible his entire life training down, and now, quite frankly, is our best horse, our best 2-year-old in Ontario racing right now, I believe, isn't he? Yeah, that Ontario bred. Oh, for sure he is. Horse was third. Paced 52-4 last night. Remember, Amy?
Yep.
Paced 52-4. Amy, we were talking after about how to say he looked ordinary would be complimentary. He didn't look ordinary. He looked poor training down, and health-wise, I remember distinctly having a conversation with James and then at the start of the winter, and he says, oh my God, he just looks terrible on the track. He popped that curb or 2 curbs. You know, he just doesn't look good. And I said, you know what? We'll just keep working him. Keep working and working and working. He's an athlete. He'll come around. And he did, right on time. Third, paced 52 and a piece last night and looked good doing it. Looked like he was gone coming out of the turn and just got picked off by the horse in behind him and another screamer from behind. I thought he raced good. Still see him running in a bit. I suspect those curbs bother him a little bit, and you see a lot less of that. Once we finish out our season, get him out to the field and let him grow up. And it's not like he wears a bunch of hardware on the inside. He wears nothing I'm aware of. Does he? Just a little head pull and Murphy blind, maybe? I can't remember, but it's not like he just runs in hard, but he does get in a bit coming out of the turn. Did that cost him? Maybe a little bit, but man, he certainly has come a long, long, long way from January 1st, 2023. So, Winter Bells, no excuses. You know, I think she might just be a filly that likes to race against horses she knows she can beat, and then when she's in a little deeper water, maybe just...
Sure first up is her favorite.
No, she ended up second. I'm not making excuses for her. There was no reason that rolled off stride behind the gate, goofing off, running up on top of people. Yeah, well, I told you, and then running up on top of people. We're going to stop doing that this winter. We're going to make sure they all learn how to ride tight. So, just rolling off, just being stupid, and then when he asked her to put it in gear, I just didn't, optically, from what I could see, I just didn't feel that she put forth a great effort. I thought she put forth a very watered-down, mediocre effort coming off of a lifetime victory where she run off. That's not acceptable. Not in my books. And Winter Bells, I know I'm going to have people email and say, well, the mucus, well, this, well, you didn't draw her blood, well, that. Yeah, but this has been an MO for her all year. Just heaps of mediocrity, and then when you put her in with horses she should win, she runs off. I've seen this movie before. There's nothing wrong with that. But she's not a gold filly. And I don't think she's even a grassroots filly this year. She's an okay horse that's taken a good 2-year-old mark and will hopefully grow up and want to be a successful sophomore, because as a rookie, to me, she does fit in the category where a little disappointed, right? There's been horses that haven't had a great year, and you can say, well, it's just circumstances of the stake season, right? And we've had those. Even a horse like Blanton's Blue had his moments and didn't capitalize, but I didn't see any mediocrity from him. I just didn't see enough output. That might sound like the same thing, but it's not. So it's not me attacking the filly. I just think she needed to put forth a better effort, both last night and in races before. I need her to show up the way she did when she was in with the watered down field in Georgia. So hopefully we can work on that and get her cleaned up, and I think she'll hit the last 2 Prospect Series races. I don't think she'll make the Prospect final, even if she runs off in both of them. I could be wrong, but I believe there's probably enough Prospect fillies out there that have garnered points where she hasn't. So we'll get her into the Prospect Series, see how she does over the next 2 weeks, and then shut her down, turn her out, and hope that she, finds a little eye of the tiger when we bring her back as a sophomore. Irresistible Sun was great. I'm well aware, and this is one of those times where I know if I move him back to the front, he wins. He's racing for 100,000 next week. He didn't need to be on the front last night at Northfield Park. He closed up 28 and a piece a mile and 2-1 last half 58. And I said the same thing to Ronnie. Ronnie said, I just thought he would have looped back around me. And I said, nah, not tonight. Maybe next week. Not tonight. I want him sharp. I want him feeling good. And I want him hungry. And he certainly came out of the race great. I jogged him back to the barn after, and he's playing and throwing his head. He's just turned into a very, very nice horse for us this year, and I think he's going to finish out his year great. Keep in mind, remember, he made the Buckeye Final, and he made the Consolation. This is what we were aiming for with everybody, and the only one that did it was actually Irresistible Sun. What's going on? I guess we can take that. Hello.
Anthony, hold on, Joe.
What's up? Yeah, what's up, Joe?
Hey, how does this sound if I run them down in the morning?
That's fine, but what time's the sale start?
What's that?
What time's the sale start?
9:30. I can have down there at 8:30, and then somebody will be there to make sure they got water, or at least they have water and get brushed up for them to go in the ring.
All right, give me a second, and I'll get right back to you. All right?
All right. Do you have my phone number, or you can call Gloria's phone?
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
So we're trying to figure out how to get. We got to get. So this is our day. I'm going to the Morrow County Fair with Addie and Amy. We are going to. We have to get Cherhola and Levesque in action to the sale in Ohio. We have to go to Pennsylvania and pick up Really Don't Care, drop off Stay Close, pick up Really Don't Care, HL Baloo, and Steel Cowboy, bring them back to Northfield Park because I want to train them up there. The problem is we were supposed to train those horses tomorrow, but that's not going to happen now. Well, it's not going to happen in Pennsylvania. Most importantly, Really Don't Care has a ride to Batavia tomorrow. So you may wonder why I keep talking about Really Don't Care. I have decided to put her in the Sire Stake race. Ultimately, she's going to be able to race in the numbers too. And for all my New York clients out there and all my partners on Really Don't Care, she will race in the non-winners of 2 next week at the Meadows. She is not staying in New York 1 second after she races in the Gold. And that's for no other reason than I think unless she goes out and wins the Gold, which is cool, then at that point she has 2 paths: to the field, or we look at what's later on for her, which she would have to look darn good to have that discussion of the ladder. She can come back from Batavia and race. I would like to race her once at the Meadows. I would like to put a good mark on her, and I know she would do very well in the non-winners of 2. She felt pretty good at the Meadows, but as I said to one of our clients, keep in mind, the Meadows is not Batavia. And just because she got around the Meadows really good with hobbles on does not mean that she is going to get around Batavia wonderfully with hobbles on. Remember, she got around Buffalo okay and then drifted across the track. She touches her jacks, she'll touch a knee, she'll get out of gear. So you have to be wary. You have to be careful of what you're doing with her. Do I think surface-wise Batavia is the place for her to go? Absolutely not. I don't think that at all. I think that the Meadows is a much better surface, but I cannot turn a blind eye also to the fact that most of the best Sire Stake fillies are not coming to Batavia, and she may be able to jump on them. She's coming off a first start ever. Addie, turn that down. Coming off first start ever with hobbles on. Was victorious in her qualifier, and that was only 2 minutes, but still a win in a qualifier. She's feeling confident. She's feeling good. She's going to race for decent money. So yes, I believe for that reason alone, it's worth. There's the Medina place. For that reason alone, I think we can go to Batavia with her. But she will be coming back right after. She's not going to any other races in New York. She will be coming back right after, and she will be racing next week in the numbers of 2, likely before we turn her out. So, with that, that's not it. That's it when it comes to Really Don't Care. So, Irresistible Sun raced well last night. I thought he finished up great, looked good. And yes, I didn't fall asleep. I'm well aware that everything went the way of the horse on the front end, and he won the race. And I could have went the same way for us. But you know what? He is racing for a lot of money next week, and I want him sharp. I want him hungry. and that's how he felt when we pulled him up. Now Sintra, man, it's tough to watch an old horse get beat up, and I just, the rail horse blasts out of there 26 flat on a half-mile track for a horse that barely belongs in there. I mean, I'm not going to attack anybody because I've driven poorly, well, plenty of times in my life, probably hundreds if not thousands of times in my life, definitely thousands. But I think parking Sintra a quarter and 26 to let the other horse go to suck the rest of the life out of you doesn't make much sense to me. But, you know, if the one relents, lets the two go, you know, he lets Anthony Hahn's horse go, they still go good money, they still go good miles, everybody gets a little bit of money, maybe even the one, and Sintra doesn't get ripped up, but it's not really the job of the driver and the one horse to look after Sintra. So a tough race for him, 150 and 1.5 mile track. You know, I raced at Grand River since it opened, right up until the last few years, obviously only in the stable, and I can tell you, unless they changed Grand River Raceway significantly, that is one hell of a mile over Grand River Raceway. So not shocking. And Desperate Man, again, here's the horse that was 6th in the race. Sintra was 2nd in the other night. So change of venue, change of track, wow, change of strategy, and good job by Garrett Rooney. The horse raced great in Desperate Man. And Sintra, yeah, he gets chewed up a little bit. So we gotta, you know, it's getting to a point where everybody says, well, can we move him? Where would you like to move him? Because if you think that he's just going to walk over to the Meadows and they're just going to open the door and say, here you go, we're just going to print checks, you don't even bother showing him. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of work to be done anywhere. I would think the only path I would be considering, aside from trying my best to find a better spot for him, would be to turn him out. But I would caution everybody and remind everybody that he didn't do his best racing in the winter. It seemed like the corks kind of bothered him a little bit. So we'll probably race him on, and as I said, I would love to say get a cheaper race for him, but he was in the right race last night. Harry put him in the right spot, and I can't blame Brett for trying to get him placed in behind Anthony Hahn's horse. Just got a rough trip. So not happy, but that is racing. The end of our night was concluded by one of Amy's favorite horses, Great Bet. He was so lazy, and so this is, you know, Great Bet is the type of horse that makes you love horse racing, because when he trained down, he looked okay, right? Very ordinary, lazy, lethargic. You know, he popped both his curbs, I think, didn't he? Popped both his curbs. You know, just wasn't good. But it's funny how breeding comes out, right? This is the brother to Greatest Ending and all those good horses. Who's the one that Luke Blake had, the brother to them? En Avant's their brother. All those horses are just tough, good horses, and Great Bet. Say what you want, he might have got 3rd in the grassroots last night. You know, it looked like he got everything his own way, but he did 2 move him to the front. He did blast him in the 3rd, and he did pace 52 and 4. I thought James did the right thing. I thought the horse raced well. He's just been an overachiever from day one, and a real treat to watch. Anytime you watch a horse that you know, we get upset when we watch horses like Winter Bells that we expected to be a good filly at 2 and then just didn't become that filly at 2. It's upsetting. It's frustrating because you're trying to wrap your head around what is going on, what are we missing? And that's not a Winter Bells problem. We have that over here too. Venice Blue Chip fits in the same category. Started off the year fantastic and has just kind of fizzled away. I'm going to drive her today at the fair in Ohio to see if we can't get a better look at her. Maybe get a fair win under her belt, hopefully, and see if she turns back on. That would be great because she fits the Sire State Constellation too. If we had the filly back to pace 53, 54, we're going in looking good. Instead, we're going to the Morrow County Fair hoping for a win today. So it happens, but the other side of that is a horse like Great Bet that you don't have high expectations for. At least we didn't. Hopeful, curious, mildly optimistic, but high hopes were not there. And he has just looked fantastic. Has looked great. And another thing, you know, just a testament to how tough the Sire Stakes are and the stake program is in Ontario. That was a grassroots event that went 52 on a chilly evening last night. So tough crew of horses again, and I thought Great Bet looked good. Now today, yes, I was told that Gypsy Hill and Sunset Acres Girl were not on the calendar. They're not the only ones, Patricia. I'm looking at the calendar right now, and neither was Venice Blue Chip on there or Prince Charmer. So they're all at the fair today. So Sunset Acres Girl is racing today. Hey, Sunset Acres Girl is racing today. Gypsy Hill is racing at 11:45 this morning. Young lady, turn that down. Gypsy Hill is racing at 11:45 this morning. Venice Blue Chip is racing, and so is Prince Charmer. Also today at 1:54 in the afternoon, I see Cutie Cumber is going to make a start at, I believe, the Poconos. Man, I'd love to see her come to life and get a good lifetime mark. In another situation, right? Yeah, probably Harrisburg, I would think. Yeah, she's pretty well bred. I thought Five Fish Species would be the one you're like, oh, come on, girl, get a lifetime mark and do some good. And instead, she's come on like a monster the last month and a half. And Cutie Cumber just hasn't turned that speed corner yet to speak of. And I'm running out of time. I bet Megan that by the end of September, she'd have a mark of 55 in a piece. And I'm hoping that comes to fruition. But it's quite a ways. There's still some grass between 55 and where she's at right now. Delicious Stone DK makes a start today. I think he's favored again. Yes, he is in Plainridge. And then we got Atlas Hanover, who's bet down. Hopefully he gets a better trip tonight. I didn't mind the trip he got the other day. I don't want it to sound like I was disappointed with the trip. That's exactly how I would have drove him. I want to see a better Atlas Hanover show up tonight. Hopefully he will. And then don't talk about Bruno looking to bounce back from a bit of a roughed up trip in his last also. So again, still had a great week. Great start to the week. Alibaba was good. Irresistible Sun and Great Bet were very good. Sintra got chewed up a bit. Winter Bells was a little flat, and so was Blanton's Blue. But today is a new day. We're on our way to the Morrow County Fair. It should be a lot of fun. I was telling Amy, we went up and watched Oh Snap You train today. She looked very, very good. For my partners on Oh Snap You, she's not anywhere close to the races, but it was nice to see her train good, train sound, and feel good. So hopefully things are looking good for a lot of those horses we rehabbed over the summer and are bringing back. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys had a great start to the day. A little chilly here in Ohio, but the temperature's getting warmer by the minute. Hopefully by an 11 o'clock post, we have a pretty warm day here in Mount Gilead. Amy looks so excited. If you could just see how excited she looked right now. Mount Gilead, Ohio. 3 in today. Good luck to everybody with Gypsy Hill, Venice Blue Chip, and Prince Charmer. Take care.